In this explainer, we're going to analyze two major philosophical objections to the cosmological argument's conclusion.
To really get a handle on the objections, we first need to isolate the specific claim that they're challenging.
Right, so the central claim under examination here is the existence of a necessary being. This is a being that is thought to contain the reason for its own existence and serves as the ultimate cause for everything else. Okay, so the first objection goes right for the core concept. It targets the logical coherence of a necessary being itself. It essentially asks whether the very idea of a being whose existence is necessary even makes logical sense. Well, philosophers like David Hume and Bertrand Russell argue that no, the concept is fundamentally flawed. They propose that existence can never be a necessary property of a being. Now, to understand this objection, we have to distinguish between two types of truth. First, you have analytic truths. These are true by definition, like a triangle has three sides. To deny them would be a logical contradiction. Then you have synthetic truths, which are statements about the world that we have to verify through experience, like the sky is blue. Denying them is logically possible, even if the statement itself is false.
Hume's argument here is based on conceivability. His reasoning goes like this. For any being you can imagine existing, you can also, without any logical contradiction, imagine it not existing. And because its non-existence is conceivable, its existence cannot be a logically necessary or analytic truth.
Bertrand Russell really builds on this point. He argues that all claims about existence are synthetic. To say something exists is to make a claim about the world that requires evidence, not a claim about its definition. So, from this perspective, necessary existence is just a confusion of categories. It wrongly treats a synthetic property as if it were an analytic one. Now, the second objection takes a different approach. It basically says, okay, let's grant that a necessary being exists just for the sake of argument. But then it challenges whether this being can actually be identified as the god of classical theism.
This critique focuses on what's often called the gap problem. There's a pretty significant logical gap between proving a necessary first cause on one hand and proving the existence of an all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-good being on the other.
And you can break this down into three core issues. First, the argument doesn't establish those key divine attributes we associate with classical theism. It doesn't prove the being is omnipotent or omnibenevolent. Second, as Hume and Russell suggest, the necessary being could just be the universe itself, which would remove any need for an external creator. And third, the argument doesn't prove there's only one such being, which leaves the door open to the possibility of polytheism. This table really helps to summarize the two lines of attack. As you can see in the top row, the first objection challenges the logical possibility of a necessary being. Then, as the bottom row shows, the second objection grants the conclusion for argument's sake, but then challenges its theological interpretation, arguing the necessary being isn't proven to be God.